Something extraordinary was happening in the Sahel, Burkina Faso's poorest region. Ibrahim Traore was going from village to village with a mysterious check, distributing cash to farmers. Each farming family received $5,000, and nobody knew where this money was coming from. Traore was accompanied only by one assistant, with no press members present. This secret operation lasted 3 days and distributed a total of 50 million. But the real mystery was the source of this money, and why Traore was acting so secretly. It was early morning. In the village of Dori, in northeastern Burkina Faso, farmer Amadou Diallo was working in his field. Last year's drought had almost completely destroyed his crops. He and his wife and 3 children were going through hard times. Suddenly, dust clouds rose at the village entrance. A black car was approaching. Amadou couldn't hide his surprise when he recognized the person getting out of the car. This was President Ibrahim Traore, but he appeared to have come without any security or protocol, just with one assistant. "Brother Amadou," said Traore, approaching the farmer. "Peace be upon you," Amadou replied in astonishment. "And upon you peace, Mr. President. How did you get here?" "I came to visit you," said Traore with a smile. He pulled out an envelope from a small bag in his hand. "This is for you." When Amadou opened the envelope, his eyes widened. There was $5,000 inside. He had never seen so much money together in his life. What is this, Mr. President?" asked Amadou, his voice trembling. "A special support program for our farmers," said Traore. "But don't tell anyone for now. Just tell your family." "Why secret?" Traore looked around, then whispered, "Because the story of this money is a bit complicated." Amadou waited curiously, but Traore left without giving more details. "Very soon everything will become clear," he said finally. The same day, a similar scene was taking place in the neighboring village of Goram Goram. Farmer Aicha Ouedraogo was drawing water from her well when she saw Traore. Again the same bag, the same envelopes. "Mrs. Aicha," said Traore, "a gift for you. $5,000. Aicha couldn't believe it. "Mr. President, this is too much money. I don't deserve this." "Every Burkinabe citizen deserves it," said Traore. "But stay quiet for now. We'll explain when the right time comes." "The right time? What does that mean?" Traore smiled but didn't answer. He only added, "This money is actually your right. I'm returning your stolen right." "Stolen right?" Aicha couldn't grasp the meaning of these words. On the 3rd day, Traore had reached Seba, one of the most remote villages. Ibrahim Sawadogo, who lived there, was trying to plant corn in his field, but he had no money for seeds. When Traore arrived, Ibrahim was surprised. "Mr. President, how did you get all the way here?" "To talk with you," said Traore. "How are things going?" "Difficult, Mr. President. I can't buy seeds. The water system is broken." Traore extended the envelope. "This will solve your problems." Ibrahim was shocked when he saw the money. "Mr. President, this is too much. How will I pay this back?" "You won't pay it back," said Traore. "This isn't a debt, this is your right." "My right?" "Yes, you'll understand very soon." Ibrahim wanted to ask more questions, but Traore was already heading toward the car. 3 days later, Traore returned to Ouagadougou and was meeting with his assistant Marie at the palace. "Operation completed," said Marie. "We reached 10,000 farming families. A total of $50 million was distributed." "Perfect," said Traore. "Now the second phase begins." "Second phase?" Marie asked curiously. "Yes. Now it's time for explanations. But still, nobody knows where the money came from. Even the Ministry of Finance has no information about this." Traore smiled. "Because this money isn't coming from the Ministry of Finance's budget. Where is it coming from then?" "From the big secret we discovered 3 months ago," said Traore. He pulled out a confidential file from his desk. "Do you remember? You were investigating the suspicious movements in the French central bank's Burkina Faso accounts." Marie's eyes widened. Yes, those secret accounts, $2 billion in missing money. Not missing, said Traore. Stolen. Marie held her breath. So this $50 million is the recovered portion of our money, Traore completed. But this is just the beginning. The next day, Traore appeared live on national television. The whole country was waiting curiously. The secret money distribution in villages over the past 3 days had caused rumors. My dear citizens, Traore began, we conducted a special program in our villages over the past few days. We provided support totaling 50 million to 10,000 of our farming families. The hall erupted. Journalists were in shock. It's time to reveal the source of this money, Traore continued. This money is part of the money that belongs to you but has been stolen from you for decades. Now the hall was completely silent. 3 months ago, during our financial investigations, we discovered a major scandal. We detected $2 billion in irregular transactions in the French central bank's Burkina Faso accounts. Traore showed the documents in his hand. These documents show that since 1960, our country's natural resource revenues have been systematically transferred to France. Gold, cotton, manganese. The proceeds from everything we have were kept there. Surprised voices rose from the hall. Last month, we discussed this situation with France. Initially, we secured the return of $100 million. This $50 million is half of that money. But why did we distribute it secretly? Asked a journalist. Traore smiled. Because we wanted to see the real reaction of the farmers who received this money. Would the money really go to the rightful owners, or would it get involved in corruption? What was the result? An amazing result, said Traore. Out of 10,000 families, 9,987 spent the money on seeds, fertilizers, and farming equipment. Only 13 people directed it to different purposes. The hall erupted in applause. This shows how honest the people of Burkina Faso are, Traore continued. Our people are trustworthy. Now we will return the remaining $195 billion to the people in the same way. This had a bombshell effect. $1.95 billion. After the meeting, French Ambassador Pierre Dubois urgently requested a meeting with Traore. Mr. President, said Dubois, your statements contain very serious accusations. Are you claiming that France robbed Burkina Faso? I'm not claiming, said Traore calmly. I'm proving it with documents. Traore pulled out a thick file from his desk. 60 years of bank records, transfer documents, secret agreements, everything is here. Dubois looked at the file and turned pale. Where did these documents come from? From the French central bank's own archives, said Traore. A whistleblower reached out to us. He was suffering from pangs of conscience. Who was this person? That's not important. What's important is that the truth comes out. Dubois was sweating. So what do you want? Simple, said Traore. The return of the entire $2 billion that was stolen, plus 60 years of interest. This is impossible. Then, said Traore, picking up the phone, I'll give these documents to international media tomorrow. Dubois panicked. Wait, we can negotiate. No negotiation, said Traore. Only justice. A week later, an emergency meeting was being held at France's Ministry of Finance in Paris. Finance Minister Christine Laurent was examining the documents on the table. How serious is the situation? She asked. Very serious, said her assistant. The documents in Traore's hands are real. If these come out to the public, we'll experience a major scandal. How much money are they asking for? $2 billion plus interest, around $4 billion total. Laurent slammed the table. This is madness. But Traore is right, said the legal advisor. These transactions were indeed illegal. The agreements signed in the post-colonial period were contrary to international law. What are our options? Either we pay, or we experience a scandal. Laurent took a deep breath. Arrange a meeting with Traore. 2 weeks later, Ibrahim Traore was in Paris. He met with the French president at the Élysée Palace. Monsieur Traore, said the president, we can resolve this matter. but 4 billion is too much. I can offer you a proposal, said Traore. 2 billion cash return, plus $2 billion worth of technology transfer and infrastructure investment. Technology transfer? Yes, solar energy, water purification, agricultural technologies that will make Burkina Faso independent, the French president thought. This offer is acceptable. I have one more condition, said Traore. What is it? That you grant similar rights to all African countries, that you return the stolen money. This is a very big demand. Africa's rightful demand, said Traore. Either you accept, or the whole world learns the truth. 3 months later, the African Justice Agreement was signed. France agreed to make payments worth $4 billion to Burkina Faso. Additionally, it would begin similar negotiations with other African countries. When Traore returned to Ouagadougou, tens of thousands of people welcomed him at the airport. They had banners reading, "You brought back our justice." Farmer Amadou Diallo, who had received the first 50 million payment, was also there. He had come with his newly purchased tractor. "Mr. President," said Amadou, "now I understand where that money came from. It was our right." "Yes," said Traore, "and from now on, none of your rights will be stolen." In his speech, Traore said, "Today we didn't just get money back, we got our dignity back, we got our independence back." The crowd was shouting enthusiastically, "Traore, Traore, Traore." This $4 billion, Traore continued, will be spent entirely on the people. Education, health, agriculture, infrastructure, every penny for you. A year later, Burkina Faso had completely changed. With the $4 billion investment, 2,000 new schools were opened, 500 health centers were established, 50,000 farmers received modern equipment, clean water reached all villages, solar power plants lit up 60% of the country. At the first-year evaluation meeting, Traore said, "A year ago, when we secretly distributed money to farmers, some said this was populism. But what was the truth? This money was their right. We were returning their right that had been stolen for years. What I'm most proud of," he added, "is how our people used this money. 99.87% correct usage rate. This is a world record." Marie's eyes filled with tears as she presented the annual reports. A year ago, 1 ton of corn was produced in Amadou Diallo's field. This year, 50 tons. And this is just one example. Today, Burkina Faso's $50 million mystery has become a symbol of Africa's struggle for economic independence. Other African countries are also conducting similar operations, demanding back their stolen resources. And it all started with Ibrahim Traore's courage to go to poor villages that morning with a mysterious check in his hand. Sometimes, big changes begin with the quietest steps. Traore had taken that step. Amadou Diallo is now one of the region's most successful farmers. Every day when he goes to his field, he remembers that day. When the president came, I didn't understand that this wasn't just about money, but about honor. Now I understand he didn't give us back our money, he gave us back our future.